paying homage to a great African inventor, Lewis Howard Latimer, African American, who invented the light bulb. Very often, after a war, the victor rewrites the history of the vanquished, and very often, on balance, the written historical accounts by the victor is fraught with inaccuracies. It is quite rare to read about African achievements, even when confronted with the facts. But the then president of Edison Electric Institute, Thomas R. Kuhn, finally conceded by rightfully acknowledging Lewis Howard Latimer's ingenious invention or inventions without prejudice. He said, and I quote, "To the young people of America, we live better today as a result of Lewis Howard Latimer's contribution to this nation's electrical industry." However, African Lenese would like to say, Lewis Howard Latimer's ingenious inventions did not just benefit the young people of America, but it benefited the rest of the world. We indeed live better today due to Lewis Howard Latimer's invention of the light bulb. Lewis Howard Latimer was an African born in America or the United States on the 4th of September 1848 in a city called Chelsea in the Suffolk County of Massachusetts. Unfortunately, Lewis Howard Latimer was born in the era when Africans or enslaved Africans in America were considered as property. Ironically, history tells us that in 1641, Massachusetts was the first of the colonies in the 13th British colony, America, to legally legitimize the act of slavery as an institution. At age 10, Lewis Howard Latimer had already begun to hustle by working with his daddy, George Latimer, in hanging wallpapers at night or during the evenings. Perhaps the challenges of helping his daddy to hang wallpapers at night was the moment his invention of the light bulb took seed. At age 16, it was registered he joined the United States Navy as a landsman in solidarity to fight against slavery until 1865. A landsman is a person unfamiliar with the sea or sailing. Osajifo or Sir Lewis Howard Latimer was the brilliant African or the brilliant African American who invented and patented the processing of manufacturing carbons on 17th January 1882 at the age of 33. The patent number 252386 in the United States Patent Office. Lewis Howard Latimer's invention revolutionized the manufacturing of light bulbs. His invention of the carbon filament for the light bulb kept the light bulb illuminated for days, weeks, months, as compared to the then invention of the light bulb with the paper filament by Thomas Edison, which burned out within seconds. Yet, in schools today, the name Thomas Edison rolls off the tongue effortlessly, whereas the main inventor, Lewis Howard Latimer's name, appears not to be boldly vocalized. Lewis Howard Latimer's invention of the light bulb with his carbon filament paved the way in manufacturing light bulbs from the Industrial Revolution days till today. We are mightily proud of Lewis Howard Latimer. It's a terrible shame the presence of Lewis Howard Latimer's invention or inventions have not been boldly incorporated into the school curriculum around the world. It's even terribly embarrassing that Lewis Howard Latimer's invention of the light bulb and his other inventions are not ingrained in textbooks around the world. We posthumously salute Osajifo or Sir Lewis Howard Latimer. One thing worth mentioning: the American or US Patent Act or the Patent Law was enacted on 10th of April 1790 by the first US President, George Washington. The aim of the act was to protect inventors' creation for at least 14 years to allow the inventors to benefit, profit, and or earn a living from their invention. The American or US Patent Act 1790 was, however, enacted when slavery was still legal in America. Thus, any invention by anyone considered a slave meant royalties or profits generated from the patent would be appropriated by the slave master because slaves were considered as property. This ridiculous reality is indicative proof that, on balance, most inventions by Africans, especially prior to the end of America's Civil War, 1861 to 1865, or prior to the US abolition of slavery on the 31st of January 1865, were appropriated by slave masters because the enslaved Africans were considered as property. How enraging! Stay tuned to find out a bit more about Lewis Howard Latimer. But for now, would request that when you switch on the lights at your home, at the office, when you switch on your car's headlamps, or when you switch on the lights on the airplane, on the boat, on the yacht, or ship, to be able to read at night, when you see the lights come on, when you open the fridge or refrigerator, when you see the street lights come on, the airport runway lights come on, just as you are about to land the jet, when the lighthouses along the coastline are illuminated to warn ships about the dangers on the coastline, just remember, it is all due to one of Africa's greatest inventor called Lewis Howard Latimer.